What's going on, guys? I'm going to do a pre-market analysis here on AMC. Y'all seem to find some comfort and kind of like these pre-market analysis, so I'm going to try to keep doing them for AMC here. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So first thing I want to talk about actually is the insider purchasing of AMC shares. Now, typically, whenever you see insider purchasing like that, typically high level executives only buy a stock for one reason, and that's that they believe it's going up. They can sell a stock for all sorts of reasons. Maybe they need to give money to the ex-wife. Maybe they need to, or I don't know, make a yacht purchase, whatever. There's lots of reasons why high level executives, so like CEOs, CFOs, all those people will lost my train of thought. Anyway, but you get the point. There's only really one reason that they purchase, so that's a really good sign that we're seeing a lot of high level executives purchasing. It means that they know something behind the doors that's about to come out. So that's interesting. So let's go ahead and jump in here to the chart. One thing that's sticking out is that we are golden crossing. So if you're looking here on the EMAs, you see you have the white EMA, which is a 200, and then you have the 55 EMA, which is the yellow. Whenever those cross and the white is under, it's a golden cross, and it typically means that you're going to see a lot more bullish action coming up. Whenever you have the white EMA on top of the golden, so kind of like here, this is what you would call a death cross. The higher the time frame you see this on, the stronger the indication. Also, whenever you move into a range and you see the EMAs going up and down, I typically put less weight on them. I don't use EMAs to trade necessarily, but what they are good for is helping you to identify trends and ranges. So for example, you see how the EMA is going up and down, up and down, up and down. That's very typical when you see a range. But if you are trending, what you will see is that most of the candle bodies, not talking about the wicks, but the candle bodies are holding above the EMAs. So that's a good indication that you're in a trend. Typically, whenever I'm entering a trade, I'm only wanting to trade away from the EMAs. So that's a little tip there. Why did I move that? I did not mean to do that. Okay. So what does this tell me, since we're going into, or we are in more or less a range? Well, it's a good sign in that I have a lot of other technical analysis telling me that we should be moving up here. So I think of it as a barrier that we've crossed, right? So now it's support. So that's good. I don't necessarily putting weight on it all alone. When you're in a range, you'll just get chopped to pieces, right? So here it crossed and went right back under. But because I've got a completed Elliott wave count, because of the fractal telling us that we're going to be going higher, because of all these other things that we've talked about, that's a really good sign to me. By itself, I would ignore it, but with all the other technical analysis pointing to us going up, it's interesting, we'll put it that way. So let's go ahead and dig in here a little bit more, kind of see what's going on. You'll notice that I've overlaid the bars pattern from previous cycle there so that we can kind of have that for reference. And this doesn't have to unfold exact. I've been seeing a lot of predictions on Twitter or Reddit and whatnot, people saying, well, it's going to happen on this day or that day. Well, not really. I mean, a fractal pattern, they rhyme with the past. They don't necessarily have to be exact to the price and to the day. So if, like, for example, today it looks like we should be running up, we don't necessarily have to do that. We could consolidate the next 2 days and then pump, and it's still perfectly fine. It doesn't make it invalid. So it's just it gives you an idea of what you would be expecting. So let's go ahead and take a look at what happened yesterday. So we did get the run up. If you remember, I was talking about, I want to see this swing break. We didn't see that. So if you can just take a look there, if you're trying to learn, I know some people have been wanting to learn, but just look over here and tell me why you think that we stalled right there. If you want to pause the video, go ahead, but I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all. So come over here to the volume profile. What do you see? Well, you got a low volume node. You got a low volume node, right? So it's hitting those low volume nodes and it's turning around because there's no price acceptance. That little pocket where the price isn't accepted, that's enough for it to turn around and to look for acceptance, you know? So that's basically what happened there. Doesn't mean that it's going to be going down to new lows. It just means that's a turning point in the market. So let's take a look here, see what we're doing. So assuming this is our completion here, we're going to pull up our measured move tool, and look, you can see that it goes right to the 50 and we get rejection. So we're going up, we're going higher because the computer algorithms engaged at the 50 and they're buying the stock up. It even looks like there's a smaller one right there off of this 50. So if you come in here like this, you can see that they're buying right there at that 50. So they would be, looking for a move up. So that's looking good. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay, so look here, whenever we came back down to the 50, right where we stopped, there's a low volume node right there, if you can see that. So, just pointing out how these low volume nodes are turning points in the market. It's very helpful. They're very accurate too. That in combination with the pulling the measured moves, it's a very useful tool. Let's check volume, see if we're getting any volume spikes. So volume's spiking up a little bit, not a whole lot. Not a bad thing. It's just something interesting to look at. Other thing I was going to talk to y'all about, if you want to look at more insider information, you can go to this website that I use frequently. It's called openinsider.com. Basically, you type in a stock and it'll tell you. So like, let's type in Tesla. See what Tesla. Whoops, that's Yesla. Tesla. And so basically, it'll show you whether high-level executives have been purchasing any of their, of the stock. So you can just look through here. It looks like not a whole lot of purchasing. There's a little legend down here at the bottom that will tell you what all the highlights mean and everything. But it's a useful tool because, if you're looking at buying into a company, maybe it's a small company and you think that it's going to rip, a good sign is if you see, 3 or 4 high-level executives buying in large amounts. Remember what I said, that tells you pretty much one thing, that they believe it's going higher. Ignore selling. So if you see a bunch of sells in here, I mean, they could be selling for any number of reasons. I wouldn't put a whole lot of weight on it. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this video. Not a whole lot else to talk about, but yeah, I'll keep y'all posted. Like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Peace.